Hello, everyone, and welcome back to True Self. I'm excited you guys are here today. So, in our previous videos, we kind of explored forgiveness and gratitude. We explored like how forgiveness helps us to kind of let go of our old identity and make space to bring in the new version of ourselves. And with gratitude, we acknowledge the blessings and the abundance in our lives that already exists in our lives, which helps us to kind of shift our focus from the lack in our lives to the things we have. So, with these two practices, we kind of prepare ourselves. And now we also need to practice something else, and that's practicing self love. And I feel like this is one of the most important concepts which we need to kind of practice, and which most of us who start manifesting need to implement in our lives. Because the reason is quite simple. It's because everyone is you pushed out. What that means is how you feel about yourself, how you see yourself is the only way your 3D can show up or the people in your life can treat you. So if you don't feel loved or chosen, respected or acknowledged or whatever other abstract feelings we can think about, if you don't feel loved or chosen, your 3D cannot kind of reflect that. If you don't feel chosen and loved inside, if your inner experience is not something filled with love, it cannot be reflected out in the 3D. And so, so most of the time, we kind of, or most people kind of think self love is the same as self concept, but it's not exactly the same. I feel like there's a difference because self love is mostly about yourself. It's actually only about yourself, and it doesn't include your desires. So it's more about the relationship you have with yourself. So it's like asking yourself, like, how do I truly see myself? How do I feel about myself? And the answer to that is basically self love. And it's not like the concept you hold about others or other things. So we will discuss self concept in our next video. But today I want to kind of focus more on self love. So the reason why you need to practice self love, as I told before, is because everyone is you pushed out. So especially when you're manifesting an SP, they are like a direct reflection of your inner self. The people close to us are kind of like mirror representation of our inner selves. So if you have a feeling or if you feel anxious, I used to feel quite anxious in relationships. Not always, but it was like a mix of anxiety, and sometimes I feel secure, but there are times when I feel anxious. So this, when you feel anxious or like if you are like somebody who's avoidant, the the core reasons for these kind of relationship tendencies are some kind of childhood experiences, right? So we pick up certain behavioral patterns because of our surroundings and circumstances in our childhood. Maybe it's the way, like our parents, the way we kind of had the relationship with our parents, the way they treated us, the way we were growing up in those surroundings, right? We pick up all these patterns back then. And then as adults, we kind of never acknowledge them. We never consciously treat these patterns. So what happens is, let's say you picked up these anxious patterns, and most of the time you feel anxious or this kind of fear because you feel you're the source of our love and safety and security as a child was from our parents. And when, for example, our parents were not there, we kind of feel unsafe. And then maybe we cried, and maybe they were not there for like a long time. And then that set us up, or that kind of formed a pattern of fear in us. And that led to kind of this anxious attachment styles. And as adults, we kind of never tackle them. We kind of take these attachment styles into our relationships, right? So let's say our SPs, maybe they don't text for some time, and then our mind goes a bit crazy. We think like, okay, they don't care about us and things like that. So this is something we really need to kind of address if we are going to manifest an SP or like a specific person. And so the core reason why these kind of anxiety and or avoidant attachment styles happen is because the love, the source of our love was external to us. The source of our safety and security was external to us. As a child, yes, it's true that our parents are that source of love and security and safety, right? But as adults and as we now know manifestation and the law of assumption, we know that there is no one external to us. It's we are that source. We are the source of that creative power, and we everything that we desire is already within us. And our true self is actually just pure love. So we need to kind of, instead of focusing or trying to get love or that feeling of love and security and safety from something external to us, we have to go inside, and we need to kind of get in touch with our true selves, and we need to kind of create or yeah, we need to change the source of our love from something. Source of our love is not in the out in that 3D, but we need to kind of find that love from our true selves, from within us. So once we start practicing self-love, that once we start practicing getting this feeling of safety, security, and love from within us, it has to reflect in our 3D. So once you are successfully changing your inner state of awareness, once it's shifted to something filled with love, safety, security, the feeling of being chosen, of the feeling of being acknowledged and respected and cherished. Once you fill your inner self with inner experience with all those feelings, the outer experience has to change, or it must change. So and yeah, so this is why you need to kind of practice self-love. And as I mentioned before, this is not the same as self-concept, because self-concept is more like how you see, for example, if you're taking your SP, it's like how you see your SP. Like, do you see them as somebody who's kind, loving, somebody who respects you, who treats you well, who treats you nice, who loves you? Or maybe you see them as somebody, yeah, who doesn't care, who doesn't text when you need, or somebody who's not there for you. So that's kind of the concept you hold about them. And the concept you hold about yourself could be also like you're not worthy of love, or you're not good in relationships. It's hard to get into relationships. And it could also be like the concepts you hold about money and jobs and other stuff. So self concept is not just, it's not self love. And there's this, yeah, subtle distinction. So how do you kind of practice self love? So it's quite simple. So every day take some time and give to yourself what you are expecting from others. Like, for example, we are all expecting from our parents, from our friends, from our SPs, from our colleagues, and from the people outside of us, the people in general in a 3D. We are expecting them to treat us a certain way. We expect to be treated with kindness, with love, with warmth, with gentleness, and I don't know, however you want them to treat you. Maybe it's with respect or admiration, etc. So now we are waiting for them to treat us that way, to feel that. We're waiting for our parents, our friends, our SPs to treat us lovingly, to feel love. We're waiting for them to treat us with respect or to admire us, to feel respected or feel admired. So instead of doing that, you go within yourself and you tell yourself, I am loved, I am chosen, I am respected, I am deserving of all my desires, I'm worthy of all my desires, I am enough just as I am, I am complete just as I am. Because you are complete and you are whole and you are enough as you are, because your true self is complete, it's already whole. It's your true self is love. And when you realize that, and when you step into that awareness of your true self, you will start feeling, or you will start experiencing that love and feeling of being loved, and the feeling of being chosen and respected and all that, because you're already whole and complete. So in the beginning, when I started practicing this, it kind of I kind of realized it's important, because it made a huge shift inside me. So I was practicing all my manifestation techniques, and when it came to SPs, it didn't really make an impact, or I didn't see the results that I wanted to see. And then I came upon some videos where they were talking about self-love, and I started practicing that. Started practicing self-love, and that immediately kind of made an impact, or I felt different. Um, so yeah, so for me, I realized later that this is kind of really important, because I think basically my self-love was kind of lacking. And so it could be different for you, because everybody's at a different state, right? Like, everybody's in a different state. So maybe you love yourself. Um, yeah, you love yourself a lot already, and maybe you don't. And nevertheless, it's still good to kind of practice this and not forget all this. So yeah, just practice this. Take some time, and especially when you're manifesting a space and you're not seeing the results you want, or if you're already in a relationship and the relationship is not going good, you're feeling, especially if you're feeling insecure, anxious, not loved, or yeah, if the relationship is not the one you desire, and if something is going not the way you want, start practicing. Firstly, start practicing self-love. And then also you need to start seeing them differently. You should not repeat the old story. So practice self-love, and then also start seeing them differently. Yeah, so there's there's not a lot to talk about this, except for you to just start practicing it. And I know most of us just want to get our desires and just start, or just focus on the techniques like SATs and affirmations, but prioritize self-love, prioritize loving yourself, prioritize feeling loved and chosen and respected. and shift that focus from the 3D. Don't wait for the 3D to show you that you're loved, to feel loved, right? So your source of all what you want to experience should be from within yourself. If you put that source outside of yourself, that's when we kind of lose sight of our power. And then it's basically you're admitting that, without something in the 3D to show us that we are loved, that I'm not worthy or I'm not loved or worthy of being loved or being chosen or whatever. So you should never kind of put yourself or put the source of all your power outside of you. And once you kind of reconnect with your true self, you will, yeah, once you shift into those states of love, because your true self is just pure love. And once you can access that infinite love and abundance, it'll just naturally reflect in your 3D, and it'll just never stop, because you can always, because that you're already complete and you're already whole, you're already enough, and you're already worthy and deserving. So once you know that in your core, you will, nothing in the 3D will kind of affect you. Nothing in the 3D can change your state so easily. You will be much stronger and you will be much more stable. So I'm gonna end this video here. So yeah, if you like my content and the topics I'm discussing about, yeah, please feel free to like and subscribe. And yeah, in the next video, we will talk more about self-concept. So yeah, stay true to your true self, and I will see you in the next video.